Alright, in this video we're going to do some examples of graphing lines from slope-intercept form. Key thing with this is that, y slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. M is my slope, and b is my y-intercept. And we're just going to use that to slope and the y-intercept to graph the line. So, start with this one. Y equals 1/4 x minus 1. So in this case, the slope, m, is 1/4. And the y-intercept is -1, right? Y-intercept, slope. Okay, so the y-intercept is -1. That means it crosses the x-axis, the y-axis when y equals -1, which is right here. So I know that there's one point right there. I know the slope is 1/4. That means the line goes up 1 and over 4. So I just go from my point here that I have, I go up 1 and over 4, and I've got another point. And that's enough to give me a line. All I need is 2 points to graph a line. If I want, I can draw another point down here, right? I could go down 1 and back 4. That's going to give me a point right here, and then there's my line. If I want to draw it really, that's actually probably one of the straightest lines I've ever drawn, which says something, I guess. Okay, so that's it. That's all there is to it. Let's look at another one. Let's take this one here. Y equals -x plus 2. So again, my slope is going to be the coefficient of x. In this case, that's -1. Don't be fooled by the fact there's no number there. It's -1. And then my y-intercept is going to be this constant here, so that's going to be 2. So that tells me that the line crosses the y-axis when y equals 2, which is right here. So that gives me 1 point. My slope is -1, right? -1, that's the same as -1 over 1. So I can go down 1 over 1. And I can keep going like that, down 1 over 1. All of these are going to be points on the line. I can also go up 1 and back 1. Alright, that's the same thing. And that's going to give me my line. That's not bad either. Doesn't quite go through all the points, but you get the idea. One thing to keep in mind, right, of course, is that if it's a negative slope, that means the line should be going down as I go left to right. This line's going down. You want to double check these things, right? This first one we did is a positive slope, positive 1/4, so the line should be going up as I go from left to right, and it is. All right, let's try. Let's try this one down here, 5. So y equals -3x minus 3. So my slope is -3. And remember, that's as a fraction, that's -3 over 1. My y-intercept is also -3. So as the line crosses the y-axis when y equals -3, so there's my 1 point. And then my slope is -3 over 1. So it should be going down, right? It's a negative slope. So that means I'm going to be going down 3 over 1. Remember, it's always rise over run. Or I can go up 3 and back 1. And I can actually do that a couple times. Alright, and I've got my line. And there you go. Now, go over here. Y equals 4. This one's a little different. There's no x in this equation, so we could think of this as y equals 0x plus 4. In that case, the slope, m, is 0, and the y-intercept, b, is 4. Okay, well, the slope of 0 means that it's a horizontal line. So we go straight across. The y-intercept is is 4, right? So it crosses the x-axis, the y-axis at y equals 4. And it's a horizontal line, so it's going to look just like that. Alright, anytime you see that there's no x term, you know that you have a horizontal line, because that means the slope is 0. And the 0 slope means a horizontal line. Now, another case can be complicated. Something like number 8 here. X equals 5. Now this is confusing because there's no y at all. You can't really use slope-intercept form here, and there is no slope-intercept form of this line. What does this line mean? Well, think of it this way. X equals 5, right? It's telling you that x equals 5. Well, what are the points where x equals 5? Well, here's 1, 0, 5. Here's another one, 1, 5. 5, 0, 5, 1, 5, 2, 5, negative 1, 5, negative. Those are all points where the x value is 5. Now, if we took all the points that have an x value of 5, what would we end up with? We would end up with a vertical line, right? So this is so whenever you have just x equals something for your equation of your line, that means you're going to have a vertical line, and it's going to just go through whatever the number is, whatever that constant is going to be the number that it runs through. So there's your example. All right, so those are some examples of graphing lines from slope-intercept form.